Hi, it's Sherilyn here, and this week in my Florasphere colouring in video I'm going to explore with you warm and cool colours. Now I'm doing this because a lot of people have contacted me and suggested that I make videos about backgrounds. A really good way that you can bring the feeling that you're looking for into your colouring in is by understanding warm and cool colours and what they can do to your overall design. Now these technique videos are meant to support you in your colouring in, so please don't get competitive about it and please don't stress out about outcomes. The only outcome that you should be concerned about and the only results that you should be striving for are within, they're not on the page. So with that in mind, please enjoy this week's technique. So let's explore warm and cool colours. Now, though this may seem like a little advertisement for my new colouring in books, I've actually brought them out here now because they show exactly what we're about to explore. The differences between warm and cool colours and what they can impart on not only your work but also on you. The covers of these two books have been coloured with warm or cool colours. The one on the right, Florasphere Inspired, contains mostly warm colours. The one on the left, Florasphere Calm, contains mostly cool colours. The titles of the books indicate the energy of these colours. Inspired connects with warm colours. Warm colours impart a feeling of inspiration, vividness, energy, uplifting feelings. Cool colours impart a feeling of calmness, soothing, healing, and gentleness. So it was no mistake that my publisher and I decided on these colours. And we're not the only clever people in the world. This is used all the time by artists, both fine and graphic, by designers, and by people who work with colour in various healing modalities as well. That's just a little quick peek inside one of my advanced copies. Now, what does this all mean for you when you're colouring in? Well, I'm sure that most people would have seen a colour wheel, and they can be quite confusing. But I would say that if you're exploring colouring in and you'd just like to take that next step, especially with art, it's probably a really good investment. Don't worry about all the other bits and pieces that are on here at the moment. I'm going to make other videos in the coming weeks which explore what all these different things mean and how you can bring them into your colouring in. For now, I want you to look at this colouring in wheel. It's the same thing, but it's a simplified illustration. It divides the colouring in wheel, or colouring wheel, into two. We've got the warm colours on the left and the cool colours on the right, with a clear line between them. If we look at the colour wheel, that line is here. And it goes straight down here with red violet being on the left, violet on the right, yellow on the left, yellow green on the right. And you can see here on the colouring wheel, it actually indicates here as well. So just for our lesson at the moment, I'm going to use the simplified wheel so I can explain to you what you can do with these colours. And it particularly comes to the forefront when you're working out what to do with backgrounds. And this seems to be a reoccurring theme, people asking me why their backgrounds look dull, confusing, or boring. You have to decide what it is you would like your background to do. And I guess the number one thing that people find hard is that their backgrounds seem to overpower their colouring in. And the thing that most people think is that it's because their colour is too dark, they've been too heavy-handed with their pens and pencils and paints. And sometimes this is the case, but mostly it's just because they haven't looked at their warm and cool colours and they don't understand the differences in what they do. Both of these images are very simple colouring in. There's the same colour in both images. This image here features a green, a cool colour as a background, and an orange as the colouring in, and that's a warm colour. Here the warm colour, the orange, is in the background, and the cool colour is here on our leaf, our colouring in. I'm sure that you can see that here on the right here, the warm colour is coming forward. Here the warm colour is coming forward. The cool colour is receding. It's receding. So what happens is the warm colour jumps out, the cool colour goes back. And in colouring in, if you feel that your background is overpowering, most of the time it's because you've got a warm colour as your background. A lot of colouring in, not all of course, but a lot of colouring in features nature-based things, your flowers, your leaves, patterns like this. And so often we're using our greens, especially if we're doing flowers and floral work and the outer border is the leaves. If we come in with a warm colour as our background, we're going to overpower. So that's what you need to have a little look at. So how do you rectify this? I want my leaf to be green. I really do. So what do I put in the background? Well, you put in another cool colour as your background. So what you'd be looking at is something like this, which is more like nature. So it's harmonious. Now there's a lot more little bits and pieces that I can show you using the colouring in wheel. So this is a very simple first step. So this is using two cool colours together as the subject and the background, and we can see that it's very peaceful, harmonious, soothing. And here, if our subject is a warm colour, putting another warm colour in the background and carefully playing with it, if you will, we're able to also create something harmonious, however it is vivid. I'm sure you can see the difference between these. I don't see anything technically wrong with this picture over here. I quite like a dynamic background as well. So this is just to answer the questions that people have about their overpowering backgrounds and wanting to tone them down. But you may like a background that comes forward that is dynamic and vivid with a softer subject as well. So these are things to play around with. And how you do that, you don't need to print out great things like this, but how you do that is just by experimenting on scraps of paper. So before you commit to your overall colouring in, grab the colours that you'd like to play with and have a look at the ones that are on the warm and the cool side of things and work out what sort of feeling you'd like to not only impart on the colouring in to look at, but perhaps even what sort of feelings you would like to experience as well. Because working with your cool colours will bring soothing, peace, calm, tranquility, all those sorts of emotions to you. Working with your warm side will bring a vividness, it'll bring uplifting energies, inspiring, awakening, energizing energies. So perhaps next time you're sorting your colouring in out, you'd like to think about that and experiment. I'd love to hear how you go with your warm and cool colour exploration. Please share it with me on the Facebook Florasphere page. And I'd also love to see any of your colouring in. It doesn't have to be from my Florasphere colouring in books. It can be from anywhere. I love to interact and share. Until next time, happy colouring in.